Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video and it's titled Michael Knowles destroys Cenk Uygur on Piers Morgan Uncensored. You guys, I'm excited for this, and without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
Michael, come to Papa. Apparently this is basically the new Messiah has just entered the race. Your thoughts?
I'm so pleased to say I agree with Cenk. I'm so happy that Kamala Harris has selected Mr. Waltz. I was afraid that she might choose Mr. Shapiro, though that would have posed a political problem because Mr. Shapiro is a member of an ancient nomadic tribe that many in the Democratic Party don't seem to like very much anymore, especially with the regional war and Israel and Gaza. That could have been a big problem for the Intifada wing of the Democrat Party. So she's got to ditch him. There was a chance that she would look at Mark Kelly. I thought Mark Kelly in Arizona would have been a really good choice, really tough for Republicans to run against. Instead, she chooses the governor of Minnesota, who presided over the worst of the BLM riots, watched Minneapolis burn to the ground, and seemed to be cheering it on half the time, and a governor whose chief accomplishment is putting tampons in the boys' bathroom in public schools. So I think this is great. You know, in 1984, the only state that Ronald Reagan did not win was Minnesota. This is not exactly a swing state, okay? It's very solidly blue, and it's Kamala leaning in to one half of her identity. I think the talk about her biracial identity is overdone. There's another schizophrenia in Kamala's identity. On the one hand, she's the most left-wing senator to the left of Bernie Sanders. On the other hand, she's the establishment pick, an empty suit who goes along with whatever the Democrats want. And so the question was, which Kamala are we going to get? Josh Shapiro would have been more her leaning into the establishment side, appeal to moderates, appeal to centrists. No, she's going all the way left. We'll see how that plays in Peoria.
Tim Waltz is a progressive, radical, left-wing guy. He is. Now, Michael Knowles, let me bring you in here.
Is America radical left-wing, Piers?
Let me bring in Michael.
Is America radical left-wing? Because all of his policies poll over 70%.
Well, let's see.
Thank you for saying that America's radical left-wing. I appreciate it.
Maybe you'll be right. Maybe you'll be right. I don't think you will. But I'm not saying that as someone who's a conservative. But Michael Knowles, you are a self-identifying conservative. Cenk doesn't think any of this stuff matters. None of the gender stuff matters. None of the ID stuff matters. None of the tampons in boys' dressing rooms matter. None of that matters, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, Cenk challenges us to run a campaign on gender ideology in public schools. We already have done that, and it's been pretty successful. That was the Glenn Youngkin campaign that turned a purple and really pretty blue Commonwealth Virginia red. Ron DeSantis ran for re-election, in large part on that issue. He soared to a re-election victory. You mentioned, Piers, there's global outrage over the unfairness of transgenderism, even in the Olympics. So it's an important issue. The fact that Governor Waltz not only put the tampons in the boys' bathroom in the public schools, but also came out and embraced the radical trans policies for little kids that is tearing families apart, that's putting kids on really dark paths that lead to higher rates of anxiety, depression, suicidality, all sorts of dark stuff, sterility, earlier death, the list goes on. That is not going to play very well in the middle of the country. Now, I think Cenk makes a good point in distinguishing between the left versus right debate and the establishment versus populist debate. The problem right now, though, is that the establishment is quite leftist. Don't forget, the people pushing abortion up until the moment of birth, the people pushing for transing the kids, the people pushing to totally open up the border, the people embracing the campus intifada going on campuses around the country, that's the establishment Democrat Party going all the way up to Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris is an establishment figure. Nobody's more establishment than Joe Biden. The guy's been in politics since 1972 at the national level. And Kamala Harris was brought in just to pinch hit for him because his brain has turned to applesauce. So she is playing both of these things right now, but she's playing both because the establishment is so left-wing. And she has raised a lot of money, and that's impressive, but she hasn't really done it because, as we've all observed, including Kevin, she hasn't really said anything since she became the nominee. She doesn't do press conferences. The one or two times she's spoken off the cuff, it hasn't gone very well. She's not really good on her feet. She hasn't articulated much of a policy vision until today, making an unforced error, picking this radical leftist lunatic out in Minnesota. So yes, she's made a lot of money because the Democrat establishment was keeping some money on the line when they were trying to push Joe Biden out. If she can stay in the basement of the White House until November, maybe she wins. But if she has to go out and defend these policies, it's not going to play in Pennsylvania. She came out on Jimmy Fallon's show, said she wants to end fracking forever, once and for all. That's not going to play well. She came out and said everybody needs to be woke. That is not going to play well in Michigan, in Arizona, in Nevada, in Wisconsin. Yeah. So if she speaks, as I think eventually she's going to have to do, we're going to see whether Cenk or I are right. And the spoiler alert is, I am.
You guys, what are your thoughts on this video? Do you agree with Michael Knowles' take on this? I think he is saying nothing but the truth in this video. Everything he mentioned and pointed out about Kamala Harris and the Democrat is the absolute truth. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below, and let's continue watching, you guys.
Michael, I think you've got a more overarching solution to this.
I do, actually. But before we even get to that, which I think was simple enough and it worked a quarter century ago, I have this question for Cenk, because it seems like we're getting so bogged down in the particulars. What exactly are this fighter's chromosomes, and what leagues are credible in ascertaining this question? But you just said, Cenk, that you would have no problem with your daughter engaging in a sport, even we're discussing a combat sport, with someone who has male biology. And what people find so disturbing about the Imani Caliph story, I think, is the notion that a man is punching a woman in the face. So if you say you have no problem with this, with men, people with the biology of a man, even fighting women, even playing sports with women, do you think there is any circumstance in which it's okay for a man to punch a woman in the face?
Yeah, so I'm glad you're asking the question, because I said it, and let me double down and clarify so that no one's confused about it. So my cutoff is high school. The reason why I fought with the left is beyond high school, especially in contact sports, you are risking not only the women in that ring, but you're also risking trans rights. Because the minute that a trans woman knocks out a biological female in a way that is significant, right, and does real damage, trans rights are going to be set back 50
Hold on, though. I want to be clear, Cenk.
And I don't want that. I want to protect the trans community. Hold on, can I just answer the question? You're saying, hold on.
I just want a little clarification.
Guys, in high school,
you're saying an 18-year-old man should be able to punch an 18-year-old woman in the face. 18 is fine. 19, that's when it gets
boxing
bad.
Is there in high school? What are you talking about? In high school, there are no contact sports like boxing and MMA. If you're talking about wrestling, that's about as much of a contact sport as there is. So in high school, look, guys, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. First of all, this affects 7 people. You're being ridiculous. And the reason you're talking about that is because you don't want to talk about higher wages and health insurance for everyone. But if you want to talk about high school, what you have to do in order to let me just answer the question, can I just answer the damn question? So in high school, you're trying to find 7 people that you think is a problem. Oh, okay, apparently I can't answer the damn question. Okay, listen. What you're doing is you're saying in order to find the 7 trans girls out there that are so dominating these sports, which is not even true. Leidecker is dominating swimming way more than any trans woman is on any sport. I'm not going to test her testosterone. I'm not going to test all that stuff. But in terms of the high school athletes, I'm not going to go and ask all the state officials and government creeps to go check the genitalia of our daughters so that they could ascertain whether they're trans or not. This is a trans witch hunt, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Okay, great. Good for you, Cenk. You're not going to worry about whether blokes are beating up women. Great. Michael, what's your bigger solution?
Did I just say that? I said on the professional
I hate
level.
To sound like
are
a
you
far
hard
right,
of hearing?
conservative
I know your trans hate has taken over your body so much.
I'll wait for Cenk to finish.
I have never hated trans people. I think trans people are entitled. I think trans people are entitled to the absolute same human rights as everybody else. And I've always promoted their rights to fairness and equality. Right to the point it actually erodes women's rights to fairness and equality. Michael, final word to you.
Thank you. I know this is going to sound like a far-right, crazy, conservative answer, but we're all defending the great tradition of women's boxing. That did not exist in the Olympics until 2012. Women's boxing didn't exist pretty much anywhere until 1998, 1999. I'm all for women's sports. There are great sports and wonderful women athletes. To me, I think it's kind of distasteful to watch women get their heads cracked in. And so call me old-fashioned in that way. But I think maybe certain things are better left to the fellas, and catching blows to the head maybe would be one of them. And then we could circumvent this whole debate.
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting one. And I love how Michael Knowles ended this debate. We're tired of getting women's head bashed and cracked open by other trans women who are, first of all, biological male. And until Cenk's daughter gets beaten by a trans woman, then his narrative might eventually change. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. I really had fun reacting to this video. If you guys enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.